call today's look eyeliner. She's my best friend. Oh, and hey, it's been a minute. Today's video is gonna be something that I haven't done before, and it's something I have been actively avoiding for 2 months. Okay, my voice is cracking. Okay, but I'm gonna try and do this as quickly as I can. Okay, I am just going to go through all of the books that I have on my like reading list thing on Goodreads, and I'm gonna just talk about it, you know, like talk about each one of the books as you do in a wrap up. And we're just gonna I'm just gonna say like a sentence or two about the book, give my star rating, and we're just gonna go through the list. There's 35 books or something, but I'm gonna try and do this as quickly as I can, okay? Okay, I don't know, these sounds I'm making, they're just kind of odd and off, and I'm just gonna stop talking so I can talk, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we are going to start at the top of the list, at the top of my ear, with Swimming Lessons by Lily Reinhardt. So this is a book, and it is a collection of essays that Lily Reinhardt has done. Actually, they're not essays, they're poems. I'm off to a great start at this. Challenge yourself to do this really quickly, by the way. I would be interested to see what you have to say. Okay, it was decent. I think it is good for younger readers. I gave it a 3 stars. It wasn't as powerful as some of my other poetry books, but decent. Next, we're doing Solutions and Other Problems by Ali Brosh, which is a graphic novel, if you will, because that's kind of what it is, with some essays. So it goes over, her life, unfortunate situations. By the way, Olivia, she has missed you, and she loves you. Okay, so she wants to be part of the fun. Okay. Now, what I like is that the comics, they are so just hilarious, very good reading. Some of it is actually kind of dark as well. So, what did I give it? I gave it a 4-star rating. What did I want from it? Oh my god, Olivia. You cannot see, but my cat is a puddle. She is melting from love, and she is just on the floor, melted. What I mean by that is that she is just so cuddly right now, and I wish you could see her. But, I gave this one a 4 stars, and I just wanted a little bit more something, Okay, so I hope you get value from this. I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King. So here it is right here, 5 stars. I read this on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I think that everyone should read it. So 5 stars, beautiful illustrations as well. Kadar Nelson is the illustrator. Okay, so I have lost my spot, and my cat has jumped on the bed. Okay. Olivia likes to watch. She is like my emotional support kitty. Yeah. So next is Letters from an Astrophysicist by Neil deGrasse Tyson. I do give this around a 4 stars, maybe a 3.75. Although this book was just packed full of very interesting discussion and information, I do think that Neil deGrasse Tyson could have done perhaps a little bit of a better job just sort of relaying why he thinks certain ways that he does, But he is just so brilliant that it's hard not to just automatically go on the same wavelength. Physics joke there. To get on the same wavelength as him. So, 4 stars, good, very good, enjoyed it, So the next book that I read, completed, was A Promised Land by Barack Obama. I thought that the writing was just masterful, magnificent, and it was such a reflective book. I just feel like he has just so much wisdom. I will read this again. That book, A Promised Land, has been my favorite book of the entire year. So 5 stars. I don't even know if 5 stars is enough. I would sort of like crank up the speed to like 1.5 times. But yeah, just excellent. Here is the book. Here is the book cover. Just amazing. Okay, so now we are going on to the Song of Achilles. This is by Madeline Miller, and she wrote Circe, which I just happen to love so much. Now, for some reason, I don't have a rating on this on Goodreads, but I would have to give this like a 4.25, maybe a 4.5. This is not written from the perspective of Achilles. It's written from the perspective of Patroclus and their relationship. And it's just so incredibly beautiful. I cried by the end of it. I was sobbing, and you might be too. The audiobook was fantastic. The written book was fantastic. Love, love, love. Some questionable decisions by Achilles, I would have to say, that irritated me a little bit. But otherwise, just like a beautiful, beautiful book. Next is Shine Your Icy Crown, You Are Your Own Fairy Tale, #2 by Amanda Lovelace. So Amanda Lovelace, she just writes magnificent poetry, just beautiful poetry, and this has to be one of my favorite collections that she has written. 4.25, 4.5 stars, and she just like weaves like aspects of fairy tales into her poetry. Just so beautiful. I think you would love this if you have liked any of her previous books. Perhaps if you enjoy like Ruby Kaur or any of those like more modern poets. Just beautiful writing. Okay, so next we have Two Trees Make a Forest. And this is by Jessica J. Lee. Now, I talked about this a little bit more in my Canada Reads wrap-up. So Jessica, she goes to Taiwan to sort of like go into aspects of her family history. And she does so with the lens of an environmental historian. And next we have Love and Resistance, Out of the Closet and Into the Stonewall Era, introduction by Roxane Gay. And I thought that this was a great book. Gives you lots of photographs from the LGBT history. Beautiful, and I love the introduction by Roxane. Next, All Boys Aren't Blue. I thought that this one was awesome. It is just packed full of essays by George M. Johnson from an LGBTQIA+ perspective. I think that this would be particularly good for high school students to read, and I definitely recommend it. Next is a little graphic novel, and it is called Rascal by Jean-Luc Deglin. I thought Rascal was just like hilarious. Really good to read if you have a cat. Really good to read if you are a cat. This is one of Olivia's favorite books ever. And 4 stars, probably even higher. Just charming, witty, fun. You will love it. Unless you don't really like cats, which... So, then I read Bingo Love, and some of these books that I'm going to be talking about, I read for the Black Author Readathon. So Bingo Love is by T. Franklin, and it is just such a beautiful LGBTQIA+, and it shows a second chance of love between our 2 main characters, Hazel and Mary. It involves bingo. It is like over years and years of this like developing relationship. Super cute. I gave it a 4 star. Okay, and then next we have Princess Ever After. And you know, I give this one like a 3 stars. I thought it was cute. It showed 2 different princesses, Sadie and Amira, and how they go on a journey to find out what happily ever after really means. So I thought it was very cute. I wanted more depth though in the story, and that is why I just gave it like a 3. But I think that you would especially love it if you love fairy tales and want to see a very interesting twist to them. Okay, next was The Wedding Date. And this was by Jasmine Gilroy, and it is a book with a fake lovers trope. I have to admit, this one was just like very difficult for me to get into and to read, but I wanted to give it a go. I don't really know if I like the fake dating trope that much, and I think that was part of what I didn't like. Didn't really like the romance. It just kind of fell flat for me. But I liked Carlos, and so I don't know. Not necessarily for me, but I think that you would love it, especially if you love the fake dating trope. Oh gosh, next was Nicola Yoon. Love her. I read everything. I'll say that this book is about a girl who has an immunodeficiency disease. She is allergic to basically everything. And this book kind of takes you on a ride. And where you think you'll end up, you might not actually go there. Hint. So I gave this a 4 stars. And I really do recommend it. I think a lot of people would really enjoy this book. And it's Nicola Yoon. Like, she is awesome. Next we have the Tea Dragon Society. And this book, I read Tea Dragon #1. Here's what I think of it. I thought it was just, just very cute. Talks about a tea dragon society and Greta, who is a blacksmith apprentice. And she sort of goes into this enchanting world of tea dragons, and it is cute. It is very, very cute, and there is various information that you get to learn about each one of those little tea dragons. I personally gave it a 3 stars. I think I would give it maybe like a 3.25, maybe a 3.5. And, I think you would love it if you were looking for a really cute little graphic novel about tea dragons and about tea. Okay, the next book is Adulthood is a Myth, and this is by Sara Anderson. Now, I thought it was cute, all of these like little funny quirky things about being an adult and what that means and how does one become an adult and that sort of tricky situation that you find yourself in, like especially like in your like early 20s. It was just so. So I gave it like a 3. I can see some people just really loving some of these comics, and I think that if you are in that sort of like early 20s, mid 20s sort of like age group, little things like having to be an adult and having to do your laundry, and what does that even mean? Okay, so the next 4 books that I read were all part of the Canada Reads 2020 competition. So that is The Midnight Bargain by C.L. Polk, 4 stars. Butter Honey Pig Bread, 4 stars. Hench, 3 stars. Jonny Appleseed, 4 stars. The Midnight Bargain is really good if you love fantasy. Butter Honey Pig Bread is really a good book filled with like food and family drama and Nigerian culture. Hench is it is like a comic book, but it is from the villain's perspective. Really cool. And Jonny Appleseed, that ended up being a very beautiful book. And Jonny Appleseed was written from a two-spirit indigenous author. Okay, next is The Midnight Library. Now, I go over this a little bit more in our Top Shelf Society book club live show. So the concept of the book is just like really cool. Like, what would you do if you had access to a library and that library had versions of your life, just infinite versions of possibilities that you could have taken in life? And what would happen if you opened those books and those stories? So you see Nora's journey kind of going through those different lives and the reason why she is there in the first place. I know lots of people really, really love this book, and it has such a powerful, meaningful aspect of it. I still don't quite know what I would give it. On one hand, I can see the immense value of it, and on the other hand, it just didn't do it for me. So I would say that I recommend it, but really read the content warnings and see if this is a book that you would like to read. So I know I said that I would give stars, but I don't really know what I would give that one. Okay, next is Disfigured on Fairy Tales, Disability, and Making Space. This is by Amanda LeDuc. And I did this as a buddy read with Angela Rose Reads, with Angela from Angela Rose Reads, who is just, she loves to say chef's kiss, and I think that her channel is. So it goes over disability and disfigurement, relates it to fairy tales, and kind of goes over why we feel certain ways that we do as societal misinformation. I thought that it was completely enlightening, and I think it was a 5-star read. It was one of my favorite books of the year. Next one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and it just, guys, like, it wasn't for me, like, but again, so many people love this book, you know? It was like a 3-star rating for me, and this is just about a girl who cannot die. She's immortal, and what she does during her time on Earth. I don't even know where to go with this one because so many people just love it, but I thought it was kind of repetitive, kind of redundant, and you know, it was like around a 3.25-ish for me. Okay, next is Klara and the Sun. And this again was a Top Shelf Society book club pick. I loved it, you know, and I haven't given it a rating yet on here. We're giving it a 5-star rating. This isn't for everyone. It has sci-fi elements, but it's not like your classic sci-fi. Klara, she is a artificial friend, and there is a girl who goes to the store and purchases Klara, and you see this strange sort of building relationship about what it means to, like, love one another. Can you love an artificial friend? Can you love AI? And how emotionally invested can we be in this character? It goes into just so many philosophical things that I just, like, really wish that people would think about, like, what it means to love others and treat others well. Next we have Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and it's just like this charming little book with a charming little cat that I don't really even know if we get to, like, read about. I don't remember the cat whatsoever, if there even was a cat in the book, but I just loved it. It was just so sweet. Little stories. The cafe is just this place that you go to, and you can sort of go back in time and revisit a certain time as long as you were in the cafe during that time. But you have to come back to reality before the coffee gets cold, and that is the whole gist of this sort of book. And you go through different people and their little stories about why they were there in the cafe in the first place, and it's just so cute. 4 point something out of 5. I'm not really sure, but this, I thought it was just totally adorable and written so cute, and I just loved reading it. It's just a short little book, and I think you would love it. So next is A Pho Love Story, and this is by Lonely. And, you know, I give this like maybe like 3.5. Really cute about our two main characters and their parents' own rival, like, Vietnamese restaurants, and they develop a relationship over time, and it shows the barriers and everything that's sort of in the way to get to that. 3.75. I would recommend it if you are sort of up for, like, a really cute YA romance that involves, like, really delicious sounding food. Okay, next is the Travelling Cat Chronicles, and this is by Hiro Arikawa. Loved it. 5 stars. 5 stars. It is adorable. Read the synopsis. It's so cute. It's about a little cat, its little owner. I mean, not its little owner, you know what I mean? And I read it with Olivia. It's Olivia's, like, favorite book. Olivia recommends this for all the cat people in her life. Okay, then next I have Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Love this book so much. I love Talia Hibbert and I love her writing, and I think that she is just funny and clever and witty, but look at the content warnings. There can be just, like, flags please look at the content warnings. If you don't know how to get to the content warnings, just watch my story grab video because I talk about it, and they have all of the content warnings of like every book. And the book is about Chloe, and it is about Red. I just love Chloe so much. 4 stars, like 4 point, maybe like 2.5. I thought it was great. I thought it was really cute and a little spicy, you know? Next we have Monday's Not Coming. I don't want to say too much about it, but I will say that Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. It is a wonderful book. It is a thrilling book. It's about Monday and why she's been missing for a year and why hasn't anyone found her and why aren't they looking. I don't want to give anything away for this. You need to read it. Read the content warnings first, of course. But, oh my gosh, I loved this book. Next we have Sailor Moon Eternal Edition. Again, one of my cat Olivia's, one of her favorite books. Ugh, I can't really reach it because I don't want to disturb Olivia. But yeah, I mean, it's Sailor Moon. It's Sailor Moon. It's about Usagi and her Sailor Scouts and just how they save the Moon Kingdom and how they try to save the Earth. And just, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's like so good. Like, it's 5 stars because that's where it maxes out. Sailor Moon should not just get a 5. That does not represent how amazing it is. So it just gets all the points, just like all the points. Then I have been doing some reading on sort of like residential schools in Canada. So I have read When I Was 8 by Christy Jordan Fenton, When We Were Alone by David A. Robertson, Shinchi's Canoe by Nicola Campbell, as well as Shishietko, and just like 5 stars throughout. I think that they have been amazing books, and I will link them below. Very informative and very good if you would like to sort of like do some reading. I think that these were all exceptional, and I think that they should all be read at elementary school. Teenagers should read it, adults should read it. And then I read some really cute books. Brittany Lubby wrote This Is How I Know, and Katharina Vermette, she wrote The Just Right Gift, A Story of Love. Again, children's stories, both around Indigenous culture. And I recently just read We Are Water Protectors by Carol Lindstrom, 5 stars. It was just so incredibly beautiful. I read The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, which, I mean, I would give probably like a 3.5, 3.75. It is a Agatha Christie book, and it offers a really interesting like plot device in this book. And who doesn't love a good whodunit, right? That was a Top Shelf Society book club pick. And the last book I have here is Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Booley. I don't know how much I want to say about this because this is a Top Shelf Society book club pick, and I want you all to read it and join our book club, the Top Shelf Society, and to be there for our live show. Usually I try to keep how I feel about a certain book a secret, but I loved this book. Okay, I'm saying what I felt about it. 5 stars. Love that book. Why should you read that book? You should read that book if you want to learn about Indigenous culture, and if you want a mystery thriller that is just like fantastic. I thought it was great. I think everyone should read it. I think everyone should just love it. We should all love that book together. And I will have a lot more to say about that book during the Top Shelf meeting. That will be August the 6th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time at Perks of a Bookflower's YouTube channel. Freaking love that book. And I hope that you join it so that I can like defend why it was one of the best books that I've like read this year. All right, so I don't think that this was 15 minutes, but I'm gonna try and cut it down. We'll get what we get out of it. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to do a rapid, every single book that you read this year so far type book video, then I challenge you to do it and see how it goes. please like the video if you gain any kind of value from it. I hope I gave like some kind of value, but I am not a fast thinker, and I just was like going through all of my different books, and many of them were very, very good. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching, and me and Olivia, we want to see you here, so please do subscribe and tell me about some of the favorite books that you've read so far this year, just down in the comments.